everybody. I'm Jamie of Pandora Astrology here in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, also of Pandora, joining in from New York City.
And today we want to tell you about both of the moons of February 2021, beginning with the new moon in Aquarius of February 2021. And the first thing that you might notice about this chart is the massive pile of planets in Aquarius going on here. Not only the sun and moon in their conjunction at 23 degrees, but also Pallas Athena, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn having famously conjuncted in Aquarius just a few months ago, and really setting the tone for the year. So we're calling this one leaning into the age of Aquarius. And I think that astrologers are talking about it that way because of the massive pileup in Aquarius. But also because, astrologers have been talking about the impending age of Aquarius for decades now. The reason that they talk about it for decades in advance is because it is an extremely, extremely slow moving thing. The system of planetary ages is a cycle that is 24,000 years long. And each sign takes about 2,000 years to move through. Presently, we're actually technically still in the end of Pisces, but Aquarius is coming and we're, of course, starting to feel it. I think that a lot of people have spoken of the age of Aquarius as if it's going to be an age of humanitarianism, but it's my firm belief that it's going to be an age of technology and also community and possibly tribe and tribalism. So there's a lot of good to that. There's a lot of bad to that. The age of Pisces wasn't all good either. So I think we can expect the age of Aquarius to have its challenges. So now this is a new moon. Let's just drill back down to the present moment, shall we? This is a new moon, and new moons signify birth, beginnings, that sense of freshness, and it's happening in Aquarius. Which means that it's going to affect people with something around 23 degrees in a fixed sign in general. So anything that you might have within 5 degrees on either side of 23 degrees in any fixed sign at all will feel this moon. Now, Julia, what are your thoughts about this new moon in Aquarius? How do you think it's going to feel? How do you think we should respond to it?
Well, new moons can be times of initiating new projects, new beginnings that last a cycle of about a month. They go through the stages that correspond with the moon's phases. So we, like you mentioned, we have a lot of Aquarius here, and we also have the biggest aspect in here is a square from Mars and Taurus. So when you're looking at all this fixity, the first fixity being the mode that the sign is in, because Aquarius is a fixed sign and Taurus is a fixed sign. And it's a pretty stubborn new moon. This new moon that's kind of digging its heels in and, it is probably not willing to compromise so easily and wants to individualize, because that's a good word for the sign Aquarius, wants to individualize its approach to things.
Yeah, gosh, when I count them, there are actually 11 things in fixed signs here, 7 here inside the house. There's the midheaven for 8, 9, 10, and then the rising 11. Holy cow, that is really a ton. Yeah, it's funny because Aquarius, being ruled by Uranus, loves change, but it wants change on its own terms, doesn't it?
Yeah. It is. It's almost one of the funniest ironies of Aquarius is how open they are to change. But then if you try to get them to change on a personal level and they feel like they're being forced to, they'll just dig their heels in.
Yeah, that is very funny irony. So very big themes around change and other themes that are Aquarian in nature, the sense of revolution, the sense of humanitarianism, definitely themes of technology and science, and all of it wrapped up in a nice big package of new moon, rebirth, and fresh beginnings. So I think we can expect a lot of that. Mars here also would potentially bring some, and remember the moon, it has to do with mood, right? So this can have to do with like the mood of the populace, if you will. And Mars can bring in some anger. It can bring in some assertion, some push, or in this case, it being in Taurus, possibly pushback. So we may see a lot of social dynamics around people gathering in tribes and putting forth an agenda that suits their demographic, but then meeting with resistance from outside their tribe. So it will be an interesting beginning to an interesting era. Let's take a look at the other moon of this month, which is a full moon in Virgo. And here's the chart. And we're calling this one Being of Service on Your Own Terms. And Julia, can you remind me why we named it that?
Well, there is both Virgo and Pisces, because every time we have a full moon, we have to engage a 180-degree aspect. So that means we bring in opposite signs in there. So Virgo is naturally opposite to Pisces. However, oppositions often have a lot in common. You know, it's kind of it's a little funny quirk with oppositions is that on the surface level, they can seem so different. I mean, Pisces is spiritual and spacey and sensitive and creative, and Virgo is much more type A personality. So they seem very different, but what is similar about both of them is that this is an axis which is known as the axis of service, with two very different types of service, but service is a common theme. Pisces is about spiritual, emotional service, while Virgo is more about practical, more maybe, practical service.
Getting your hands dirty service.
Getting your hands dirty, exactly. So, they both, that's how service comes into this full moon. And since it's a full moon, it might bring this theme of service into our relationships as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the big major aspect we're seeing here to that full moon is the trine from Uranus. And whenever we get an easy aspect from Uranus, it kind of invites us to take a more individualizing approach to things, to do things in a way which is authentic to oneself as well. But it's not going to create a lot of waves because this is an easy aspect.
Yeah, this is not a wave making thing. And definitely that sense of authenticity is there because of Uranus's sextile to the sun. The sun wants authenticity, and then the moon wants it to feel right. And so Uranus is harmonizing with both of them. So yeah, this is a great moon for being of service. And also for partnership, because of the full moon is about partnership and connecting with others, but doing it on your own terms and doing so in a way that doesn't rattle too many cages.
Yeah, it gives me a kind of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of vibe.
Yeah, and it might even be like, I'll scratch your back in a Pisces way. I'll be like compassionate towards you, and you scratch my back in a Virgo way.
I
go
love that.
clean behind the latrine, or vice versa. I'll clean behind the latrine, and then you go, meditate for peace in my lifetime.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. Well, that's what we got for you today about the moons. I hope you enjoyed it. You can find this video on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, in the February 2021 news playlist. You can also find more news of the month on our website, Pandora Astrology, especially on the monthly forecast page. And don't forget to check for your horoscope, which you can find on our website or our YouTube channel. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.